Hello and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland, an Arsenal podcast. I'm your host, Gimli, and tonight I'm joined by... He's fresh off the treatment table and he'll be pushing the buttons like there's no tomorrow. It's Danny, the GFP.
Hello, you little ginger Welsh castle living shitbag.
I'm not ginger and I'm not Welsh, bout up.
Sorry.
Next up, making his third appearance in a row, it's the man with a voice like a dairy milk. It's FK, Mr. Fuckanage.
Good evening, gentlemen.
And how the devil are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. Really looking forward to this one. Big podcast ahead.
Yes, I know you've prepared your notes. You've written like lipstick on the mirror type of thing.
Got to be prepared, right?
Oh, definitely. Right. Next up, love him or loathe him. It's the podcast man on the inside. It's Mr. Geoff Arsenal.
Good evening. How's everybody?
Oh, I'm very well, and I think I can speak for the rest of my panel when I say they're all right too.
We are indeed.
Danny just grunts. Right. And finally, our special guest this week comes all the way from sunny Spain. It's the moody Venezuelan. It's John at Venguna. Hello, John.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
I'm not too bad, thank you. I trust that you've got the Jack Daniels on a drip, yeah?
Yeah, we went back to it. I tried the wagon for a little bit, but I fell off.
Can we just clear up from one of the last podcasts that you were on, when you have been accused of using the toilet, you were actually going to get ice?
I was going down the stairs to my kitchen to get ice, and somehow that got misconstrued to being in Arson's toilet.
But you did have a shit on the way down the stairs, didn't you?
Oh, Danny, not so early in the podcast. We're supposed to save that for later.
Sorry.
Okay, right. We will move on to the first bit of the podcast then, and I'd like to talk about the Asia Tour. We've played 2 games in that particular tour, and I know the young ones have played a game as well, but we'll go straight over to you, Danny, for the results.
Beep, 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 beep. Sutton United, 3. Arsenal under 21, 4. I'm only doing that once. Yeah, so we beat Sutton 4-3 on the 12th of July. Anthony Jeffrey scored. Jack Jebb got 2 and Isaac Hayden got 1. 14th of July, the Indonesian Dream Team, 0, Arsenal 7. Theo Walcott, Chuba Akpom, Olivier Giroud got 2, then Podolski, then Christoph Olsen, the Super Swede, and then Thomas Eisfeld, he got the last one. And then 17th of July, Vietnam 1, Arsenal 7, but Vietnam got their goalkeeper sent off right near the end of the game, I think. So Giroud got the first 3, hat-trick, and then Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain scored 1, then Chuba Akpom got 2, and then Ignacy Miguel, he got 1. But we scored in the 44, 45 and 46th minute. So that was quite impressive. And our next one, if you're out and about, is the Boreham Wood v Arsenal on the 20th of July. And then the first team, I've got a couple, 22nd of July, Nagoyas Grampus. And did I say Nagoyas? I've gone all...
Yeah, you did say Nagoyas.
I've gone all Latinous. Nagoya Grampus, no longer the 8. I think they sold the 8. And then on the 26th of July, Ura Red Diamonds.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Danny. Right, so there are, I think there are many encouraging things that are coming out of this tour so far, and we will touch on some of them. But the first one, I'd like to talk about Giroud's hat-trick against Vietnam. Many people came up to me and said, well, can you really judge that because it's the lesser opponent? And there was a lot of criticism still, so, the normal people going, oh, he's rubbish and all that. But to me, what more can you ask for is if a striker is scoring goals? FK, what do you think?
I would agree. I think as a striker, you've got to score goals. He's done his job, but I think you've got to take a couple of steps back and realise what the tour's about. And ultimately, it's a fitness gaining, sharpness kind of finding tour, right? So you just want to go out there, play a few games, get some minutes under your belt, and get that sharpness back. With regards to Giroud scoring goals, always quite encouraging. But the observation that I made, guys, was that is it me or is he looking a little bit leaner? He looks like he shed a little bit of weight, and his movement was a bit quicker, I thought. So I was just really pleased. I mean, he scored a few goals and looked sharp, and his finishes were all kind of different. That's quite encouraging as well. From outside the box, a little dink over the keeper, a little sort of turn and finish, which was quite impressive. So yeah, all in all, I mean, you can't be upset. I'm quite pleased, and it will do his confidence the world of good.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have actually said that his turn of pace looks a lot quicker this year, and I think I probably have to agree with him, Geoff.
Yeah, it's true. I think he did very well. But I mean, you obviously got to take in the opposition. It's not the best, but his movement was very good last night. He is a little bit more mobile. Does seem fitter. That's for sure. But the goals that he scored, it doesn't matter what the opposition are. The goals that he scored, he had a couple of really good strikes and a little dink over the goalkeeper. You know, it doesn't matter who you're playing. His technique is very good. I got a thing about Giroud because I think I've said it on the podcast before that he's fantastic if he's only got one touch of the ball. So if the midfielder, if we can, to playing with his strengths, if when the ball's on the way up to him, if the midfield can get in around him, they know he can touch it off and put it in their path or put them on their way. If he has to dwell on the ball and look up and then have 2 or 3 touches, I think that's when he struggles. But if we can adapt our game to the way he plays, I think he'd do really well this year, hopefully.
Yeah. And Chuba Akpom as well has shown fine form this competition. Van, what do you make of him so far?
Well, I like his movement. He's always seems to be in the right place. That instinct of a finisher is what he has. Experience is what he needs. Will he get it this year? I don't know. I can't see that if we're going to sign one of the trio strikers that we're talking about, or Giroud making a leap in progress, or Podolski being moved to the middle or something along those lines. You can't see him in the first team plans, but getting him out on loan and getting him some experience, I think, in the next couple of years, you really can't deny him a chance, can you?
No, I mean, am I right in saying that Joel Campbell has also got his registration forms or whatever he's needed to actually come over and join the team now on a regular basis too?
Yeah, he got his work permit, which I found it kind of strange that he never got it in the first place, seeing that he was already on the national team more than 10 times. But, yeah, they finally gave it to him. Bettis was hoping to get him back again on loan, but obviously that's not going to happen. Whether he continues with the team or not is another question altogether.
Do you think Campbell could, maybe see Akpom pushed out of the team, or are we going from the perspective that competition on any area of the field is good?
I can't see, when you have excess in numbers as being a bad thing.
No.
There's enough competition to go around, and there's enough competitions that we're in to see, the best person in form, perform on a regular basis.
No, I agree with you on that one. Another player to certainly catch the eye is it, and excuse my pronunciation on this because I'm just a country bumpkin. Is it Gideon Zelalem? Zelalem.
Could well be.
Oh my word, you are so slow.
Yeah, anyway. Well, it's definitely Gideon Zelalem. I suppose it all depends on where he's from and what language he speaks. Does anyone know why Ryo Mayachi come on for Lucas at 46 and went off at 71? Injured again, no doubt.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Maybe because he's obviously Asian and they wanted to get him some game time to appeal to the fans.
T-shirts?
Possibly.
Please, if you go to the back of that, you can find your Miyachi shirt already with the name on the back, and that will cost you 150, whatever it is, currency that you're going by.
I think they use Baht, B-A-H-T maybe, somewhere on this tour. They will be able to use those, or Doras. Doras!
Oh my God. Danny, rein it in.
Yes.
we already did this on the pilot podcast, and I thought we got it out the way.
Yeah, but now we're branching out. You've had to go to Southampton and Liverpool, so I'm branching out. Lovely.
Okay, well, you can keep your Doras.
I think we should also mention, people are bitching on about the fact that, we're only playing these teams and getting 7. But didn't Man City and Chelsea, haven't they been playing and getting that one of them won 1-0 and the other one lost 2-1 or drew? The shitty games, spanking 7 against anyone is good. It shows us how to score goals, and it's good for form, good for morale in front of a load of superb fans, a superb atmosphere. I'd love to have gone there. I'm just shamed that we didn't score against Vietnam in the 19th minute.
Oh my God! I know Man United also lost as well, didn't they?
Yeah, Good.
So,
Moyes out, that's what I say.
Yeah, Moyes out, everybody. Let's hashtag it now.
Offer him $5,000 for the Dutch person. So you're not going to get me to say it because I'd only get it wrong. And then we can,
the cut stunt.
Yeah, and then we can just loan him out to Barnet.
Yeah.
Come on, the bees.
Oh, you're a lover.
Hey.
But that leads on to my next question, which is I wanted to basically ask you guys, can we learn anything from this tour? I know the opposition isn't necessarily as strong as we'd be used to, but you've got to say, for morale terms, if you've got people like Giroud going out and scoring a hat-trick, that's going to do nothing bad for his morale. Maybe he can carry some of the form into the new season. Is this? Are we going to learn anything from this tour regarding the squad for next season or any of the players? I know that's two questions in one, so I'll go to Geoff first.
No, personally, I don't think they learn anything at all. If we had a few new players out there, obviously they'd bond together and stuff like that. But football-wise, on the pitch, I don't think they learn anything, do they? It's all about just getting fit and getting hold of the ball again and getting yourself up to. I mean, obviously, in between the games, they're training strenuously. It's a proper pre-season training. So I don't really think they're going to learn about anything on the pitch, apart from the bonding off the pitch that they may do. But they're getting a few quid out there. So what difference? It's taking the club abroad, isn't it?
No, very true. And FK, has anybody else impressed for you on this tour?
In terms of players-wise, yeah, the youngsters. I mean, Serge Gnabry and Olsen played in a couple of games, but I would echo Geoff's comments. I mean, in terms of the level of competition, it's not the greatest. I think the first semi kind of test would be the Emirates Cup in a couple of weeks. But I would also agree that I'd also kind of say that I think going on tour does have its bonuses in that the players get to spend a lot more time together than they normally would if they were just based in England doing normal pre-season training. And during the season, they're staying together, they're eating together, they're playing together, they're doing everything together pretty much, travelling on a bus together. All that kind of stuff is quite important. And in terms of the tour itself, I think Geoff hit the nail on the head. The club earns a few more pounds. I mean, commercial gain is massive. But also, the biggest point for me is that our overseas fans, who Danny alluded to, were being fantastic. The atmosphere has been amazing. They get to live the dream. I mean, we're lucky, you and I, we go to see the matches. We go to see the boys every week, every other week. These guys have never seen Arsenal play on their home turf in their lives, and they may never get to see that again. And for them, it's just like a dream come true, and it's awesome. I mean, if you saw like the greeting that they got at the airport, on the road, as the bus was driving down, the whole Running Man story, and the atmosphere in the stadiums. I think they had like 40,000 in the last game and sort of over 60,000 in the first game, which is phenomenal. I don't know too many fans based in the UK that would greet Arsenal at the airport, let alone generating noise and atmosphere that we did. And they're all wearing colours. I thought it was it was just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I've loved every minute of it.
No,
I agree. If we could only import some of those fans. I mean, the first game, the Indonesian game, it was incredible. The stadium was full of the Arsenal shirts. I even saw a few Adidas Arsenal shirts out there as well. Did you notice?
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah,
did you see the massive banner as well, Geoff? The Arsenal banner. I mean, it was massive.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
It really does get on my nerves. I mean, recently I've had a lot of conversation with people on Twitter about overseas fans not being important. And, it's good for the club because obviously it gives us that commercial reach and it increases the powerfulness of our brand and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, we're all Arsenal fans. These people are bloggers, vloggers, movie makers and, all that. They're just as passionate as we are. And, we're privileged enough to live in the city where our team play, but these guys, I mean, they're just phenomenal, and I've got all the time in the world for them. And some of them are so clued up on Arsenal, more clued up than a lot of people that I go with on a weekly basis, and more clued up than me. These people know their football, and it's just great to see.
I agree.
No, it's also very true. I mean, these guys, you can't forget that because they're on different time zones, they have to get up at like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning to watch a game. And, it's not like us who, we can get out of bed in the morning, go and do our shopping, and then we can, sit down and watch a game on the television or go to the actual match itself. These guys actually get up ridiculous times a day and chuck out their body clocks just to watch this game. So I think fair play to them. I would never question to anyone from overseas and their support. definitely not. And I think that this tour actually proves that.
I do think that it would be nice to have a tour of America. Definitely go and play at least the Portland Timbers and maybe a game against Henri's lot. But it just annoys me that everyone else is over there. We've got an American owner, and we're still going to be one of the last teams to go over there and to do it. Not necessarily just to make money from the fan base, just to go over there because we've got so many fans over there.
Yeah.
And most of them support the Timbers.
Am I right in saying people like Man United, they've done one like major world tour? They've Australia, and they're playing a couple of games in America. I mean, really, I know the travelling is quite strenuous on the players, but do we have to really, do one country? Can't we, split it around a little bit? And I know that as a football club, this is all about making money, and it is more about Arsenal as a brand than it is a football club. I don't know if you guys would disagree with me on that, but I think, we could stretch to other clubs or other countries in the world to actually show off our football.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will do. I think they'll be going to America, very, very soon, won't they? I think they're just building up the Asian stuff first. Yeah. And then once they've finished with that, they'll move on to maybe the Americas, because I think they will definitely. They'd be mad not to. I mean, Wenger. Wenger in the old days was obviously just setting his ways in going to Austria and Hungary for his pre-season and stuff. But he realises now the global attraction of the Premier League and Arsenal, so we'll push on and move out there. I'm sure.
Even maybe go down to Australia because we've got a load of gooners in Australia.
But yes. Is that the club realising that, or Arsene Wenger realising that, Geoff?
I think it's the club overall. I think if Arsene Wenger had his way, he'd lock them all away in Austria and Hungary like he used to do. But like I said, I think he realises the global attraction of it all, and it's a great way of making money, and that's the way the world is operating now, especially the football world.
Yeah. Right, next up, we're going to bring back a segment we've had on the old show before, and it's proved to be very successful. So dare I say these words again? Oh, God help me. What's a moving and a shaking in Espana, John?
Obviously this week we had the link to Atletico Madrid to Santi Cazorla. And I think both clubs moved pretty quickly to squash all rumors of that. Arsenal came out and said that there was no contact and there was no such deal in place. And Enrique Cerezo, which is the president of Atletico Madrid, came out and pretty much squashed it as well. So I think there was a lot of Twitter drama over it for no reason, as usual. As far as players are concerned, we're still being linked with Kondogbia from Sevilla, the France under-20 international. And we're also being linked now with a new link today to Diego Costa. He's pretty much like a left winger. He can play all three forward positions, but he's mostly a left winger and really good player, Brazilian. But I don't see that happening unless we get rid of Gervinho.
No, it has been rumoured that Gervinho is going to be. Was it Galatasaray I last heard that was interested, or was it Marseille? I know two clubs have been sniffing around him.
Roma and Marseille.
Oh my God! I tell you what, I'll fill the car up with diesel now. When shall I pick him up?
Yeah.
How will you spot him? Wherever the sun's glistening off the most.
I was going to say it's a sunny day. He has a rather large forehead. I don't think he's going to be too difficult.
The hate for Gervinho is so absolute in the fan base. I don't understand why. Listen, the guy's not that bad. He's one of the only ones that takes on players. His final ball is what kills him. But I mean, he's a willing party. He tries things that other people will just sit there and pass back, try to keep possession, and we let opportunities go by when he actually tries to create goal-scoring opportunities.
See, I heard something very funny about Gervinho, that was when they were doing all their training with the Ivory Coast, they all got given their names, and because he was the one that apparently had skill, he got an Eno at the end of his name. God, I bet you someone's regretting that now, aren't they?
we should refuse to call him Gervinho and call him by his given name, which is
Gervais.
Ricky.
Ricky. Right, anyway.
I would agree with Ven. I think Gervinho's just not had the fortune. There's one thing he lacks to his game, and it's just composure. He's he runs around, he tries a lot. Like Ven says, he tries to beat players. When he comes on, he's constantly on the move, and he causes a lot of unrest in the opposition defence. And I just think he lacks that composure when he plays his final ball or makes his final decision, and that's kind of let him down. And in a way, if he moves on, I wish him all the best wherever he goes, because he all he wants to do is play football, and we just give him so much stick.
Well, he's not cut out for the top leagues, is he? The last season he got 5 or 6 goals. Season before that, roughly about the same.
Oh, FK, you couldn't even play swing ball, let alone football.
But he had a couple of good seasons at Lille. There again, when you play with Eden Hazard, I'd look good playing for Lille. And then he was at another rubbish French club before that. And then before that, he was at our Beveren, the Beavers. He was at the Beavers in Belgium. And I don't know what he did there, but I can't imagine it's going to be much good. But I have seen him with no hair.
I just think that Arsenal has just been too big a club for him, too big a move, to be honest with you. He'll most likely go somewhere else and do very, very well, but it's just been a shame, because you can see he has got it in him. He's great at dribbling with the ball sometimes, but then when he gets to the end, his crossing's terrible. But I just think he suffers with confidence. A player like that, he needs to be really, really top level with confidence, and he can't do nothing if he's not. Simple as that.
He strikes me as one of those players that his feet are about 5 steps ahead of what his brain is thinking. So he's going, I'm going to play that through to him over there. And he's like, oh, no, I've already done that. Already lost the ball.
Exactly.
But anyway, we'll go back to what's a moving and a shaking in Espana with John then.
Now, of course, we had the Negredo move to City, which valued a pretty... I'm going to get some stick for this, but a pretty average striker at £20 million.
I agree.
Which pretty much is telling you that the market is absolutely ridiculous. Once again, going up. The move for Ilira Mandi from Sociedad to Madrid, $38 million.
Wow.
I mean,
wow.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous money that we're talking about. So then that's where you get the valuation of Higuain from Madrid for $40 million. Things. The one thing that Real Madrid does every year is that they overspend, and they kind of set the market. When they pay 95 for Ronaldo, they pay 65 for Kaká. Wow, you're talking ridiculous numbers once again this summer.
And can you fill us in any more on Higuain? Because all of us in England are hearing that it's gone very, very quiet on him.
Well, the big thing that everybody needs to understand about the Higuain transfer is that it was all based around a bumper deal that he was supposed to get last summer. And because he didn't get that is the only reason that he wanted to leave Madrid. It wasn't about playing time. It wasn't about the team. It was about pay. It was all about money. I always thought that Cavani was going to end up in Madrid because he was an Ancelotti transfer. He ended up completing the switch to PSG, obviously, but that was Ancelotti's first choice. So now you have a situation where do you sell a player that was happy overall with everything on the team except pay, or you take a chance of somebody coming in that has to gel already again with a team that really can't afford to have players time to gel.
And can you fill us in on Suarez as well? Because I believe at this moment in time, Real Madrid are our main competition for the signature of Luis Suarez.
They've only had a nibble.
Yeah, they are. There's been rumors of a switch, player for player. There's been player plus cash. Higuain going to Napoli. There's a million scenarios going on right now with Real Madrid. They're kind of stuck in the water though. They spent probably anywhere from 25 to 30 million more than they thought they were going to spend for Ilira Mandi. So they have to sell before they can buy.
I see.
And, they also are stuck with this illusion of Bale, but Spurs want crazy money for Bale. I mean, reports here say that they were asking 80 million euros for him. So,
well, can you believe they stuck him on the front of FIFA 2014 or 2013? Oh my word!
Yeah. Animal friendly.
I'm just going to get the South American version or something. At least that's got Arturo Vidal on the front of it.
I think they did it to tease all the Spurs fans because everyone knows they don't have opposable thumbs, so they can't play the Xbox. But a little thing on that Alvaro Negredo thing, Man City paid the same money for him as they got for Balotelli. So Negredo's 28 in August and Balotelli is 22.
Incredible.
23 in August. Balotelli, the ability to become one of the best players of his generation. Negredo, he's all right.
Who was
is that nobody's going after Soldado, which for me is double the striker that Negredo is.
Yeah.
He's on par form-wise with what Torres was doing at Chelsea, and nobody's approaching in Valencia with the debt that they have and the trouble that they're in. I just can't see why no big club is going after that player.
Who was the Spanish player that we were interested in last summer that was a little bit of an excuse the term if anyone's listening with any kind of mental disposition, a bit of a whack job, that he locked himself in his house because he didn't want to play a game? Who was that? Was that Negredo or was that somebody else?
Navas. That was Navas. With his homesickness.
Yeah.
Is that the one who's just joined Man City?
Exactly.
Good luck.
He won't even. He didn't even want to switch clubs here in Spain because he didn't want to be away from home, and now he's going to Manchester, where it's always sunny every day.
Apparently, it's a proper illness, though, isn't it? It's not just like how he feels. I think he does struggle with it. Is that right? Did I hear?
Yeah.
I think I heard Jerry Armstrong or someone on the Spanish channel.
He gets clinically depressed.
He gets
clinically depressed. When he gets those bouts of homesickness. So imagine Jose Reyes times 10.
He's got a culture shock in Manchester, then I got a bet.
So who did you hear say that, Geoff? And then give it a little pause once you say that name.
I don't follow you. What do you mean?
You just said you heard someone say it on the telly. Who did you hear?
Jerry Armstrong. Go on. Boom, boom.
One of you lot started singing.
It was me. No, it was me because I went, wonderful.
Yeah, that wasn't me. That wasn't me at all.
I wasn't sure who it was.
No.
I heard the chuckle. I thought it had gone straight over everybody's heads, but I've just completely made a tit of myself on this podcast. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Should have known it was you.
So should we move on then? Because the one player that we haven't talked about regarding having John on this show as well, and that I know that he knows an awful lot about it, as does FK, as does Geoff. I'm not sure about Danny.
Right.
But our final debate before we go on will be about Cesc Fàbregas. Many would love to see him back, and a few think he doesn't deserve to come back. So I'd just like to get your thoughts on it, really, guys. So... we'll go straight over to FK.
Yep. Well, from my point of view, I would absolutely love Cesc Fàbregas back. Not only because he's just a sensational footballer, but he's obviously one of my favourites in my time of supporting Arsenal. I think we need someone who can create chances. I know we've spoke about it at the last podcast that defensively I think we're quite sound, but I thought one of our weaknesses last year was just not creating enough in the final third and maybe scoring enough goals with all of our sort of 1-0 victories and the draws that we had. So he's the sort of person where he can create chances. His vision is absolutely incredible. Like, he's 2 looks before he's even got the ball. He knows where the ball's going before it even comes to his feet, and he makes everything look so simple. When he's in midfield, he creates space. He's composed. He's just a great footballer. So I'd love to have him back. I know a lot of people have this issue with him about him going on strike, but we don't know so much about so many other players when they want to leave clubs and throw up tantrums and all that kind of stuff. And you've got to remember, he didn't leave for just a normal club. He went back home for him. As a boy, he grew up there and he came to Arsenal at a very young age and, made his debut when he was 16 and captained us when he was at 19 and all that kind of, at 21, sorry. And he's just, his head was turned. It was a chance to go back home to Barcelona, the club where he always wanted to play. He's there now, and he's being played sort of regularly, but out of position. And he's got his old partner and daughter thing in London going on. And I think Arsene wants him back, and I think he wants to come back. So I personally would have him back with open arms.
I mean, what does it mean to you, Geoff, to be able to see Cesc Fàbregas back in the red and white? And most importantly, do you think it can happen? And what have you heard so far regarding it?
I would love Cesc to come back to Arsenal. I think he's a truly world-class player. And I think he would spark us up again, and especially with other players that'd be interested in coming if we sign someone like Cesc. I feel a bit sorry for him, to be perfectly honest with you, because I think he's torn between his girlfriend and a baby daughter are based in London, and she's got another 2 children, so I think she's got to be based in London so they can go to school. And the love of playing for Barcelona. In an ideal world, he could move the family out to Barcelona and he'd get in the Barcelona team and be playing every single week. But he's not getting that. He's got a child over in London. He's playing in Barcelona one every 3 games, or he might come on a sub and something like that. There's a World Cup year, like I said previously. So he's struggling a little bit, and it's who's going to win the tussle to where he's going to stay. Is he going to stay? I also don't think he wants to create too much fuss in Barcelona because his family are from Barcelona, the Catalonian, and I think he's concerned that they might get a little bit of stick. They're very. It's tricky out there. That he might get too much stick, or the family might get a little bit of stick if he starts playing up a little bit, so he can force the move to Arsenal. I don't think he was never ever going to go to Manchester United. I still believe that in my heart. He won't go to Manchester United. Will he come to London? I don't know. It's how much power the girlfriend's got really, and how much he wants to kick up a fuss at Barcelona, because I don't think they want to sell him really.
But I've heard a lot of people that say that they think he's got unfinished business in Barcelona, but his time there thus far has actually been very successful, hasn't it, Geoff?
Oh, he's won everything apart from the Champions League, I think. So, there is a thing where he might think to himself, well, you know what, I've won everything at Barcelona already. Let me, pardon me, let me go back to London. I can have a great time with a family and try and, convert Arsenal to a championship-winning team, competing in the Champions League as well. And everything will be honey and rose, and he'll be a hero at Arsenal, because he'll maybe end his career here. But like I said, it's difficult, isn't it? He's got a tough decision to make. And at the same time, I should imagine Arsene Wenger's got to have that thought in his head. If he's coming back to London, is he coming for the right reason? Or is he coming just for the reason because his other family here, so to speak, his baby daughter? A lot to think about.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gim. Just on that note about Arsene, I was told by one of our current coaches that when Cesc left, it was actually the saddest sort of moment for Arsene in all his time that he's known him, and that he was very, very emotional, distraught, and his word was that he was inconsolable. And I think knowing that Arsene, wanted to build the team around him, and knowing that, he kind of raised him. He's his football father figure as you're going to get, and he raised him. And I think if he had any chance of getting him back, I think Arsene would want him back desperately. He'd bring him back tomorrow if he could.
See, it's very good that you bring up that point, FK, because it's actually, I read in the Sun newspaper yesterday, not that they print anything of any note anyway, but they've actually reported that if Manchester United make this bid for Fàbregas and it is accepted, I know that we have, is it the first...
refusal, yeah.
The first refusal on it, but they're actually reported that Arsenal and Arsene Wenger wouldn't take that up. Now, I can't believe that. Can you, Danny?
Ask John about that first, because John wrote a superb blog on it. Then I want to give you a couple of stats.
Okie dokie. Right, we'll go over to John then, because you're in Spain and you get to read the local media. What's happening over there?
Well, first, my personal opinion. If you put that skill set on any other player and you tell me, would you love X player at Arsenal? In 2 seconds, I'd say yes. But to something that Geoff alluded to, is he coming back because he wants to be at Arsenal? Is he coming back because he's not been the ultimate success at Barcelona that he thought he was going to be? Or is he coming back for personal reasons? I think those kind of motivations play into a decision like that. As far as the options, the clauses, I think it's pretty obvious. Some people have a hard time understanding it, and that's because they choose to have a hard time understanding it. It's pretty basic. We have a right of first refusal, first option on them, £25 million if any bid is accepted. We also have a 50% sell-on clause, which means that if we turn down our right of first refusal, anything above the price that Barcelona pay for them, we get 50% of that. So it's not all cut and dry. It isn't like if they sell them for 30 million, we get 15. If they sell them for 30, we get half of 5 million. So I don't see any scenario where Arsenal would say no to buying them if Barcelona come to agreement with somebody else.
Thing is, 25 million for a player of that caliber is an absolute bargain, isn't it? I mean, on any day of the week.
It is.
And they owe us some money as well from unpaid fees. So, I mean, that could even be offset against that. So, exactly. I just think if the opportunity kind of arose, Arsenal would have him in a heartbeat. And also, I mean, it's almost worth buying him so that he doesn't go anywhere else, if that kind of makes sense.
The thing is though, if you were talking 3 weeks ago, where Rafinha was still on the roster, where Thiago was still on the roster, we're talking about Sergio Roberto coming up, Sergei Samper. When you were talking about all those people that were going to want minutes and need minutes to make everybody happy, you would say, there's a chance Cesc might be off this summer. But now with the sale of Thiago, Rafinha going on loan to Celta Vigo, the thinking that Sergei Samper is going to spend one more year in the B team or go out on loan. Now there's very few places, and Barcelona are not going to leave themselves short on numbers. They did that a couple years ago, and that's when they didn't win anything. So they're not going to do that again, especially when there's only really two teams in Spain. The other team is bolstering their squad. They're not going to go and Neymar. The Neymar signing says it all. They want to win everything again, and I think selling Cesc this year is going to be a mistake for them.
The thing I wanted to say was just people, if they don't remember, his stats from 2009, 2010, 36 games, 19 goals, 19 assists.
Brilliant.
For me, that says it all. And I said
World-class.
week, there's very few players in my time as an Arsenal fan that I thought, if they're on the pitch, we're going to win. Tony Adams, Ian Wright, Bergkamp, Henry, Fàbregas, people who are going to go out there and scare the life out of the opposition, because sometimes, more often than not, they're going to have to stick one or two players on them. And he will just free up the rest of the whole of the team, and he can just be such an inspirational captain. I just love everything about him, and he's one of the few Arsenal players I'd love to have back. And if we could get him back for the right reasons, because he wants to be at the club, not just come to play in London, but yeah, it'd just be an absolute dream. But like John says, I doubt very much that Barcelona will want to get rid of him, because who's going to take his place? Alex Song?
I was going to say, saying that, not that I follow Fàbregas anymore, just for the simple reason, like, when a player leaves, I just don't follow them. But I don't know. You're dead to me. Go forth and do what you have to do and have a miserable career. But I do now and again see the things that Fàbregas tweets, and he does tweet very positively about Arsenal and wishes the club luck. And he's one of those people that you can tell that there's definitely a part of him still at this club.
He's been saving a hell of a lot of Instagram photographs with him in his Arsenal kits and stuff like that. Whether that makes any difference or not, I don't know. We're all looking for things, aren't we?
No, you're right, Geoff.
If you see a scenario where Mourinho sells Mata or Pellegrini sells Silva, and Barcelona pick them up, then you could see a scenario where he leaves, this summer or January, something along those lines. I always thought that it was not going to happen until next year, if at all. But we'll see.
But I mean, on scanning Twitter on a regular basis, you see people that go, "Oh, look, he's just tweeted something in a Puma shirt. That must mean he's definitely coming to Arsenal." It's just, oh, Jesus. But okay, so we'll wrap this up then, and I'll ask you guys Just a simple yes/no question. Cesc Fàbregas, will he be an Arsenal player by September 1st? Danny?
Absolutely fucking not, and no, nor will any of the other players we're linked to. I will put my hat on it.
Thank you very much. Geoff?
Oh, I want to sit on the fence because I still think there's a chance. I said there's an outside chance. We've got till September the 2nd. The girlfriend is going to play a great big part in it, and hopefully she pulls in this way.
FK?
I would love him to be a player for Arsenal this summer. I think there's a good chance of it happening, but what do I know?
And finally, John?
No, not at all.
See, that's what we wanted, John. Just no, straight in there.
If only GC was here, you'd get a one-syllable grunt.
Right, I'm going to cry myself to sleep now, John. Thanks for that. Thanks for ruining my bubble, my dream.
I'm sorry.
I honestly don't think. I will put money on it. We will not sign Higuain, Rooney, Suarez, Fàbregas, Fellaini, Cesar. We were not going to sign any of those because the club is run by arseholes with a twat as a manager. There you go. I've said it. Bring forth the hate. I'm fucking sick of it.
I think we'll sign one of the 3 strikers we're linked to, and I think we might go back in for Capoe because I think that he won't spend 23 or 24 million for Fellaini.
No, it's all smoke and mirrors because to get us to buy the season tickets and with the audacious stunt, which always reminds me of the Kenny Everett Cupid stunt, similar thing. I just don't think we're going to buy any of them. I think it's just more bullshit like we've had every year. For the first couple of weeks of this transfer window, I was fully behind it and I thought, yeah, we're going to do it. And now you see every other club digging deep. Even that load of twats in N17, they've even bought someone for big money.
Are they? I mean, United have bought some under 21 right back. They haven't done anything yet. Chelsea hunting around Rooney. They haven't actually announced anyone massive yet, and obviously we haven't done anything.
I thought Man United had bought that Ezekiel Garay.
I don't think anything's been announced.
No, nothing's been announced yet.
I mean, there's a lot of talk, obviously, but I think there's a lot of Arsenal fans that would normally reserve judgment until the end of the summer. But I think it's just a case of social media. People just getting really cross. People start following and believing stories. I think you've just got to be. I know it's the worst word in the world. You've just got to be patient. I think if all Arsenal fans could just hold fire and why don't we reserve judgment until the 2nd of September?
If you look at some of the
but Danny, when that day comes around, if Arsene has not bought anybody of any significance, I mean, if it's just Sanogo and a couple of other unknown youngsters, then I think as fans we've probably got the right to kind of feel a bit, all right, well, that wasn't a very good transfer window. But let's wait. I mean, Suarez could be a goer. Kondogbia, John, you mentioned, could be a goer. Cesc might be a goer. We just don't know. And we're moaning about it now, but in 2 weeks' time, we could be sitting with 2-3 very, very pretty players really looking forward to this season.
It just really annoys me that you see Aston Villa going out there and buying all those quality, decent players from all over Europe. Yeah, but you say that, but you look at last season, they've got Benteke on a wonderful thing, and you've got that Wyman, another brilliant young player.
I love Wyman.
So do I, but why didn't we find them? Then you've got people like Sunderland, they're digging deep, they're buying loads of players.
Yeah, but if you look, but think about it. I wrote about 2 weeks ago that the summer that Cesc and Nasri left, you got to remember, we bought Chamberlain, we bought Gnabry, we bought Eisfeld. When, on the cheap, 100,000, 250,000. Look at the player that Gnabry's going to be now. Look at the player that Eisfeld's going to be. And these are players that could come in and do a job now.
And look how much the Ox sat on the bench last season. What did he get? 2 goals all season?
He's going to get his chance.
Yeah, but he's going to get his chance.
She's gone. Jovino might be going, and there you go. He's 19, 20. It's the perfect time.
He's 19 years old.
You talk about the spuds or the scum up the road signing that Paulinho fella. I looked into his stats and his record. He went to a European club, and he was actually a massive flop. And he actually went back to Brazil, and then he started just because he plays in the Brazilian national team. I mean, you can't polish a turd, can you? But I mean, let's be honest with you.
Let's be honest. Joe plays for the Brazilian national team too.
Well, there you go. And I mean, in a sentence, John, I mean, you've summed it up, haven't you? Really?
But he is a half decent player because my Brazilian team that I followed for many moons is Corinthians, and Paulino was there. And although my mate H on Twitter was saying that it's no great loss and that he's a good player and he said he'll do well, but then you got players like Wilfried Boney. What the hell is he going to Swansea for? I mean, Swansea are doing well, but for 12 million quid, I'd like to have taken a gamble on him. He scored like 500 goals last season.
But Danny, they're not players that I believed, or because we can't take chances no more. We're in a position now where we've got to buy quality players. They're not the type of players that I think are going to improve our squad. I really don't. We need to go higher than that. The quality players that we're in for at the moment, and that's why they're taking so long. The bigger the deals are, the longer the deals take. It's as simple as that. These things take time. We will. I'm 100% sure we're going to break our record twice. I really. That's my opinion.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we go all summer and don't spend more than 10 million on anyone.
Mad.
The thing is, though, Danny, if they announce mediocre players at the end of this transfer window, then the fans will absolutely go into meltdown. I see. There's a part of me that agrees with what Danny's saying, and there's a part of me that agrees with what Geoff's saying. I can't believe that the club and the manager would be that stupid as to fob us off with another bargain bin, race for your cash at the end of the transfer window.
After that Q&A, if Casitas looks at everybody and signs nobody.
Yeah.
After that Q&A, when he said we could do Rooney and more.
Yeah.
And they repeated it yesterday. Wenger repeated it yesterday. There's no problem with Rooney's wages. Well,
that's true.
If we don't get that minimum caliber of at least one signing and a couple of supporting cast players, the one signing will boost the morale for everybody. At the very least.
Well, this time 2 years ago, we'd already bought Gervinho. That's all I'm saying.
They're also monitoring the situation. We were talking about Cesc in the midfield. They're monitoring the situation at Chelsea. I heard last night. They're monitoring the situation at Chelsea regarding Mata and Hazard, because apparently Chelsea or Jose Mourinho, in his plans, he's going to have to lose one of them. So that there's rumours that they're looking at that and they're maybe interested in one of those two if they come available.
Is that to free up some cash because of FFP?
Well, obviously they can't keep on spending. I mean, PSG, I don't know how they're going to get out of it next year. The money they've spent is incredible, isn't it, this season?
Well, Monaco.
French.
Monaco, they're not qualified for Europe yet, have they? So, but the PSG, I think they've spent 300 million or something like that. How they can, I mean, what's this? What's it hold?
Family on the board at PSG, isn't he? So
28,000, I think you're talking, Geoff.
28,000 the ground holds. All right, they're going to have this sponsorship deal for 400 million pound for the ground. When they asked, I think that the sponsorship was 400 million euros for the stadium and alone, and they asked who the nearest bidder was, and it was like 3 million euros or something like that.
How much did you say the capacity was at Monaco?
Not Monaco. Just 20,000. PSG.
They play in the
Parc des Princes.
Yeah, that's about 60, 70,000, doesn't it?
See, don't quote me on that. To all the people that are now going to get all their little button monkeys, little keyboard warriors, they're going to go, 28,000. Please send your complaints in too.
Well,
make sure you get pronunciations right as well.
I know, because I was there in 2006 when something happened that I don't want to talk about.
Almunia.
See, I happen to think that we will end up with one of the Bender brothers, and Danny, I don't mean you. But we'll move on then to a few Twitter questions. And the first question that comes out the hat tonight is from @MichaelJBerry8, and he asked, last year's baby kits were £28, and now they're 32. Adult kits were 45, and now they're 50. Can anyone explain to me why? Who wants to field this one, guys?
Good God, it's a disgrace. Yeah, I was talking to him about that as well. They don't give a shit, do they? Because people are going to buy them. How much do those kits cost each to make? Well, maybe you probably get change from a £5.
I would imagine probably the guy that run after the tour bus probably works in a factory that makes those kits, I'd imagine.
I don't mind them putting the kits up a couple of quid as long as we see some good signings at the end of the window. I think then when everyone won't be so hard on them.
But also, Gim, it's not a problem that's exclusive to Arsenal Football Club. I think you'll probably see other Premier League clubs, particularly the top ones, that increase their kits at the same price. And it's not. I don't think it's even determined by the football clubs. It might even be determined by the manufacturer. I don't know. But it's disappointing. But what can you do? I mean, nothing you can do about it.
Thing is, all I can do is speak for myself when I'm saying I looked on the website the other day just after the away kit got launched, and that was $53.99, and I thought to myself, I ain't paying $53.99 unless there is a world class name to go on the back of it, and for me at this very moment in time there isn't. John, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, they're going to charge what they charge. I think it's pretty much straight across the board on that. It's called inflation. So at the end of the day, it's factors of manufacturing, and it has less to do with the team, and it has more to do with the manufacturers.
John, while you're on about the shirts, the Barcelona and Real Madrid shirts, any idea how much they are in the club shop?
They're about 65 euros.
Well, there you go.
65, 70 euros.
58 pounds, yeah.
Wow.
And how much could we pick one of our kits up in Thailand and thingy bob? Probably about £2.
Well, I'm in the clothing business. So in China, I mean, you're looking at $3-4. That's what it costs to do it. But, then you have your importation and your customs and your tariffs and all that good stuff. So.
You know what I'd like to see about the kits? Season ticket holders and all that kind of stuff getting discounts on them. That'd be a real nice touch.
A free kit with every season ticket.
Yeah, maybe free would be great, but if not free, then why not half price or just something to really kind of like incentivize it. But
money off members rather than some scratch card where you never win anything on a pen that doesn't work and a keychain that breaks after a week.
Because they don't give a fuck, do they?
But also imagine if everyone wore colours on match day, like the atmosphere would be amazing. Anyway, that's just another thing.
I'd like to see Danny squeeze into Lucas Podolski's top. I really would.
Hey, I'll have you know.
You've seen him, Podolski. He's ripped, isn't he? And then I see Danny's picture on Twitter, and I think, he's not going to fit in Podolski's shirt.
I can do sound effects for that. I can do sound effects for Danny trying to put on a Podolski shirt. It's something like. Anyway, right,
I tweeted a picture earlier of my summer beard, and I was topless when I tweeted it. And I think with ladies, I'm still available, ladies. I'm still looking for love.
He's got the hairy lady's favourite. You got his name. Hook
That's
him
it. I need an incubator for my little wiggly things. I need to start procreating. I'm nearly 43 and I've only made one, and she don't like me.
Anyway, since this is quick fire questions, because we don't want to waste any more of the listeners' time by this going on for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. So our next question comes from GJ Hill 1, and he asks, do we need better coaches rather than Wenger employing his mates? And I think that's rather harsh, but we'll go to FK first of all.
Ooh, better coaches. I think in all his time, I think Arsene could have changed assistant manager maybe a bit more often. In terms of coaching, I'd like to see a goalkeeping coach come in. That was discussed last week, but otherwise, I'm quite happy. I think also that he's just recently appointed a former rugby player. What's his name? Jerry, former Irish rugby player, is like head of conditioning or something. He's coming in to really sort of toughen our boys up. That'd be quite cool. But apart from that, nothing from me.
Okay, Ben?
I would be happy with a better conditioning coach, maybe. I think conditioning is a relative issue that goes to the injuries that we have, and a goalkeeping coach, and I'd be happy with that.
Okay, Geoff?
Yeah, Carnage summed it up really. To be honest with you, it's only a goalkeeping coach that I think we require at the moment. Let Arsene get on with it. Let him do more coaching rather than have to worry about transfers and all the other crap that goes on around the club. Let's get someone else to do that other work and let Wenger do the coaching.
Exactly. John, Arsenal have actually appointed, Jerry Flannery's working with Arsenal. He's an ex-Ireland rugby player as our strength and conditioning coach.
Is he new?
And he looks fearsome. Believe me, you you Google him and he's got stitches all over his face and all that kind of stuff. So I can see Santi Cazorla handing a transfer request right now.
So he's a new coach then.
I don't know if he's an official coach, but the club phrased it as he's working with, so he might be.
He's a new affiliation then.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great, awesome.
And Danny?
I would like to see the back of the Bournemouth legend that is Jerry Payton. Thank you very much. Don't let the door hit you in the arse on the way out.
Okay, and that sums that one up very nicely. Our next question comes from a good friend of ours, and me and Danny spoke to him on Skype the other week, and I think it opened his eyes to actually how nuts me and Danny are.
We're crazy.
We're a bit mental. But it's block_5_Guna, and he asked, do any of the panel have any match day superstitions or rituals? If so, what then?
I wear the opposite shirt of where we're playing. If we're playing away, I wear a home shirt. If we're playing at home, I wear an away shirt.
Fantastic. Geoff?
Growing up as a boy, I've got nothing at the moment, no, but growing up as a boy, my old man, we used to seem to, when you're growing up, we walked for miles. He used to park about 3 miles away and walk to the ground, and he'd park in the same place every single fortnight and do the same walk just the same. And it was a ritual for him to do it. And even if it was a midweek game where you knew the crowd or the cars wouldn't be full up around the stadium area, we'd still go to the same place and we'd be walking and walking and walking for miles.
Oh, bless you. Danny?
I strip naked, only wearing a leopard print thong, and only answer to the name of Arson.
I thought you were going to say something like you change your underpants on a match day.
I did. I only have one pair, the leopard print ones, but they're getting a bit tight now. In fact, I've not seen them this year.
You
I think
do
they're there
realise
somewhere.
It doesn't count as changing them if you turn them inside out and back to front and all that. You could keep a good pair going for nearly a year, I'd imagine.
Yeah, all I do is just scream at the telly, I fucking hate all of you.
Lovely stuff.
Apart from Theo, bless him, and maybe Arteta's hair.
Oh, you are absolutely.
No, I'm angry.
mental.
I've held it in too long. I'm angry with it all. I'm taking out my anger. I'm a little bit early. I'm 6 weeks early with the anger.
Oh my word. FK?
Yep, I have to wear my Cannon beanie hat all year round, doesn't matter what weather it is. And if it's a match day during the week, then I wear my Arsenal cufflinks to work. So
and how's that going for you so far these last 8 fucking years? I think all of you need to stop all of that shit and change it, 'cause it's not fucking working.
Yeah, sure.
Brilliant,
Oh my god! See, these questions, these are good. I like the questions that people have sent us in. Granted, we couldn't get through all of them, but they've been good. But anyway, we'll move on to the next one, and this is by at North Bank Men. He asks, why haven't we bought any players of note yet? Is Wenger capable of signing big? And we'll keep this quick and simple, and we'll go straight over to Danny first again.
Because they're all twats.
Okay, Geoff?
He will sign them. I just have to keep the faith.
FK?
Yep, he'll sign them, he can attract them, and we just have to be patient.
And John?
We'll sign players, like Geoff said. I think, the bigger the player, the longer the deal takes.
Okie dokie. Right, and our final question, and then we'll go on to do some shouts out and we'll wrap this thing up. Our final question comes from a guy called Charlie. His Twitter name is at CJS_AFC, and he asks, if you could have a pint with any Arsenal player, who would it be? And I take that as current, and he also wants to know why. So we'll start off with Geoff. Who would you go for a beer with, Geoff?
Only one choice.
Yep.
Okay. I'd like to go out with Chesney. I think he'd be great crack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you reckon you'd be drinking with each other? Do you reckon
I don't booze me. I'm on coffee, but I'd make up for it in other ways. Don't worry about that.
Are you a teetotaler?
I am. Yeah. For a long while.
And me.
See,
I don't drink either.
Oh my god, it's like a fucking AA meeting gone wrong.
I just don't drink because I don't like it.
Yeah, same as me.
I'd
Exactly.
much rather have an espresso.
I had
Blasphemy.
Jeff down as
Absolute blasphemy.
Yeah, John makes up for all of us.
I had Jeff down as the kind of man, he'd go to a match day, he'd sink about 15 plastic Carlsbergs.
Oh, I can't think of nothing
Warm
worse.
ones with
No.
with flies in.
No, definitely not. No, I left boozing when I found the dance music situation.
Aye.
So I'll let you read between the lines.
Easy tough. I think we should need to have a little talk later, Geoff. All I'm going to say is I spent most of the 90s at Revelation and United Dancing Stevenage.
Yeah.
Holla!
I spent most of mine in between Ministry of Sound and Ibiza.
Oh, upper class. I couldn't cope with that.
Right, John, who would you go for a beer with in the current squad and why?
He's out on loan right now, but I'd go out with Santos because we could go 300 miles an hour in his car and then go have Brazilian barbecue.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. And FK?
Oh, it's such a difficult question. Well, having already realised my dream of touching Arteta's hair, it would probably be Jenkinson, actually, because about a year ago I was playing Top Golf and he rocked up with his mates. And I told one of the Bay hosts to go and sort of call him over. I was a big Arsenal fan, didn't really want to go over. And he came over to me and my mate Joe, and he chatted to us for about half an hour, 45 minutes. And he was absolutely just a blinded lad. He's just so down to earth, and he's very funny, and he's just a really nice guy. So I'd love to go out with him again.
Fantastic. And finally, Danny, even though you are teetotal, who would you have a cup of coffee and a rub with?
I would say it's got to be Gideon Zelalem. So every time I say Gideon, how do you pronounce your surname? And he go Zelalem, and I go no, and I'll just fuck him off constantly by doing that. Or I just go Tim.
Shut your face. Tim. Shut your face. But anyway, I think.
Who would you go for drink?
Yeah, who'd you go with, Jim?
I'd go for Podolski. German, so you know he's going to be able to drink a lot, and you know he's going to be, a bit of a lager hound. And plus, you see the pictures that he posts of himself outside Highbury. You know he's going to be absolutely fucking nuts. Don't you? You know you're going to wake up the next morning, you're going to think, oh, what did I do? I was with Lucas Podolski. Oh, fuck me, I won't go outside. I'm not even going to check my phone because he's probably called and texted some people that I don't even want to know about. Anyway. Right, we'll go straight over to the shout-outs now, but before I do, I just want to thank everybody that sent in questions. Unfortunately, we couldn't read all of them out this week, but we do appreciate everybody that sent them in. Right, over to our shout-outs now, and who wants to go first with the shout-outs, gentlemen?
I'll go last.
Okay, FK, I know you've got a few this week.
Yeah, I've got two, if I may. The first one goes to a guy called Addy, and his address is French Finesse. And I think a lot of people recognise him as the guy who produced the most amazing video on 8 years, Danny. Recently, it was a Twitter sensation. Did any of you guys catch it?
Was that the one that I thought it was a bit of a piss tape because it was just going on about all the stuff we didn't win, but then part way through started to go a little bit upbeat, and then was that the one?
Yeah, and it's sort of Arsene speaking at the end.
Very good. I really enjoyed that.
Absolutely the best video I've ever seen, and I've watched a lot of Arsenal videos.
And you've done a few, like your Reading one.
I have, yeah. So first shout out goes to him. It's Addy. It's at French Finesse, so FRENCH, and then Finesse FINESSE. His name's Addy. He's brilliant. And my second follow, if I may, goes out to a lady who told me she was in love with my chocolate voice, and I said to her that I'd give her a shout out. Her name's Amy, and her Twitter address is at AMY Amy Jessop JESSOP 89.
Fantastic. And Van?
I don't have any shout outs. I'm sorry, I don't. I haven't been on Twitter for like a week and a half, really. I've come in and chatted a little bit, but I haven't, besides you guys and the normal Arsenal folk, I haven't talked to
give it to GC. Give it to Gav.
I'm gonna give mine to Danny. Oh. Shout out to Danny.
You should have mentioned your blog.
Don't waste it on him.
Oh, you cheeky bitch. What are you wasting
it on him for?
Get back in your box, you ginger twat.
I don't normally do the shout-outs, but I've got one this week, which is amazing, eh? I would like to shout out.
Do you know anyone on Twitter then, Geoff? Does anyone follow you?
No.
I didn't even know you were on Twitter.
It's a little bit quiet sometimes.
Oh, bless
you. We've got the Arabic Geoff on next week.
Shout out this week to a really good Gooner who's remember the sister podcast. Are we still a sister podcast with the Gooner Goal podcast? Gareth _Stringer. He's an interesting Gooner because he's interesting because he used to be Wayne Rooney's agent or work with Wayne Rooney's agents, and also he makes fantastic websites. So he gets a big shout out from me this week. He's been very helpful.
He wasn't Rooney's agent. He just worked for Rooney's agent.
Yeah, all right. Give him a G, the kid. Give him a G.
The kid? He's old.
Yeah, all right. I'm trying to help him out a little bit here,
He was a fighter pilot in Vietnam, I think.
I know. He's very interesting. He's got. Do you want to have a look at his website, honestly?
I do.
Incredible. He said to me, my missus, he said, I sort you tickets out for Fairford Air Show. Fucking still waiting, Gareth. Sort it out. Anyway, Danny.
I'd like to first of all give a big thanks to @dberry1974, who is Darren, who set up our website, and every day is getting emails from me saying, Darren, can you do this? So that's www.dberry dbwebstart.com. If you need a website building, he is absolute genius. He's got all the time in the world. And if he puts up with me and Gimli constantly asking for stuff, then he's got to be good. A quick one to Rufus AFC, who did our graphics.
Yep.
Very kind of you. And then my personal shouts out to my good mate Dave, who lives in Olympia, Washington, who is at Where Is My Waffle. He's a very funny bloke. I've known him for years, and he listened to the podcast for the first time the other day, and he said he liked it. Someone I've been talking to a little bit, another Australian gooner, who is at OzGooner49, very nice bloke, very interesting. And the podcast actually has an official mascot. It is at Jack NEVA. Lainen. I think that's Jack Neverlinen, and he is our official Viking mascot because his family are Scandinavian and he's a Viking. And he has an axe. So if you're horrible to Geoff on Twitter, he's going to get his axe, and the Viking's going to start removing heads.
Fantastic. I've got a few this week myself, and before we actually came on this podcast, I was doing the notes, and I sent a quick tweet out for people to send me the reason why that they should be my shout out for this week, and I've got 3. So the first one is someone called Chloe the Geek, and she is basically at Chloe the Geek, and she basically said that if we get her over 150 followers, we can vote, or we can say what player she's going to have on her new Arsenal shirt. So that's Chloe. So go and follow her. The next one is Steve Rogers. Steve_Rogers 86, and the reason is, and I excuse you for some of you are a little bit faint-hearted, he said, me because I gave you a free reach around on that fishing trip. So unfortunately Steve had to have his shout out. And finally, the last one is because it did make me chuckle a little bit. His actual Twitter name is FC20 Benson, which also made me laugh, and that is at Philip_AFC_1886. So a big hello to those guys, and I hope you enjoyed your shout outs.
Have you thought of anyone you can say hello to yet, John, you miserable shit?
Yeah, actually I have.
Oh, go on, then.
If you follow me on Van Gooner, you know that I have the little Yoda display picture, which has a little Arsenal wrestling kit and then Jack Daniels bottle. The girl that did it is an Arsenal supporter, and she's in the same position I am with my missus. Her boyfriend of many years is a Man United fan. So Anita, she's at Arsenal OFKA, and she did my display picture for me.
Hello.
So all the people that need display pictures, you might need her too. Oh my God, that was monumentally bad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so I'd like to thank all of my guests tonight. Danny, it goes without saying. Geoff, thank you for coming back as you normally do. FK, and our special guest John, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate
Pleasure.
it, guys.
Hey.
Right then. This has been a Bergkamp Wonderland podcast. Thank you very much for listening, and good night.
Nanu, silly bitches.
I love that, Danny.
That's it.